Welcome to our deep dive right into the center of Montreal City Council.
Ooh, exciting.
We're going behind the scenes of their January 2024 meeting.
Okay.
Using the official meeting minutes as our guide. First things first,
Okay.
picture yourself stepping into Montreal City Hall during a council meeting.
I can picture it.
It's buzzing with activity.
Yeah.
Over 50 councilors,
Wow.
stacks of documents.
Mm-hmm.
That unmistakable air of civic importance.
Right.
Now, you might not think of meeting minutes as the most thrilling read,
Yeah, not really.
but trust us, they're a goldmine of information.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a crash course in local government,
Yeah,
Montreal style.
I like it.
We're talking about where our tax dollars go,
Okay.
the decisions shaping our city,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even a few surprises along the way.
Ooh, I like surprises.
So how does this whole thing work?
Yeah, how does it work?
These meetings follow a specific structure,
Mm-hmm.
starting with a roll call.
Okay.
All those councilors present and accounted for.
Makes sense.
Then comes a whirlwind of resolutions,
Resolutions.
each one meticulously documented.
Wow, meticulously.
This is where the real action happens.
Okay, the resolution's right.
Each resolution represents a decision point.
Gotcha.
Should we fix those pesky potholes on St. Laurent?
Important question.
How about funding a new park in NDG?
Also very important.
Every line item has a story behind it,
Right.
and the minutes capture it all.
You captured all of
Who
it.
proposed the resolution,
Mm.
who debated it,
Huh.
who tried to slip in a last-minute amendment.
Oh, sneak.
It's all there in black and white,
Or digital text.
or digital text, as the case may be.
Right.
This structured transparency is the cornerstone of a functioning democracy.
Absolutely.
It holds our elected officials accountable,
Right.
ensuring every decision is on the record for the public to see.
I see, yeah.
It also gives us a glimpse into the power dynamics at play.
Oh, interesting.
Which counselors are driving the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Are certain voices being amplified while others are drowned out?
Right, right.
We're going to keep an eye out for those subtle clues as we dig deeper.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, let's dive into some specific examples from these meeting minutes, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
And remember those two versions,
Yeah.
V2 and V3.
Uh-huh.
Keep an eye out for any interesting discrepancies between them.
Okay, we'll do.
You never know what we might find.
Ooh, exciting.
First up, let's talk street sweepers.
Okay.
We found a surprisingly hefty line item for street sweeper rentals.
Oh, really?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
For rentals?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a lot of money for rentals.
That is
I mean, I know Montreal takes street cleaning seriously,
right, especially in the spring.
especially in the spring.
Yeah.
But this makes you wonder about the costs involved.
Right. For sure.
Is it more cost-effective to own the sweepers, or are there advantages to renting?
Right.
Maybe something to research further.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that.
What's fascinating here is that this seemingly mundane expense raises broader questions about municipal budgeting.
Okay.
How does the city prioritize spending?
Right.
Are there trade-offs between short-term rentals and long-term investments?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, next item on our deep dive agenda.
Hit me.
A significant contract with Microsoft for cloud services.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Microsoft.
This points to the larger trend of digital transformation in government.
Right.
Cities worldwide are moving their operations to the cloud,
Cloud computing, yeah.
from data storage to citizen services.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
Uh-huh.
Everything's going digital these days.
It really is.
But it also makes you think about the implications.
Okay.
On the one hand,
Cloud services can improve efficiency and accessibility.
right.
On the other hand,
Mhm.
it raises concerns about data security and reliance on large tech companies.
Definitely something to consider.
Definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
And speaking of big expenditures,
Okay.
remember that new aquatic complex in Pierrefonds Roxborough?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, according to these minutes,
Yeah.
there were some additional costs incurred during construction.
During construction, of course.
Construction projects going over budget.
Classic.
That's a tale as old as time, unfortunately.
Sadly, yes.
And this particular example highlights the challenges of managing large-scale infrastructure projects.
Yeah, for sure.
Cost overruns can happen for a variety of reasons. Unforeseen site conditions, fluctuating material costs,
Mm-hmm.
even disagreements with contractors.
Right. Lots of cooks in the kitchen.
It's a good reminder that even with meticulous planning,
Yeah,
things don't always go according to plan,
that's for sure.
and that those unexpected costs,
Yeah,
they usually come out of the city's budget,
right.
which ultimately impacts all of us.
Exactly.
But hey, enough about budgets and overruns.
Okay.
Let's uncover some of those hidden gems we mentioned earlier.
Okay, let's do it.
Those intriguing details that reveal a lot about Montreal's character and values.
Ooh, I like it.
Sounds good to me.
All right, what treasures are hidden within these minutes?
Well, for starters, tucked
Uh-huh.
away between a resolution about bike paths and another about noise complaints,
Typical city council stuff.
we found a lease agreement with the Lesbian Archives of Quebec.
Now that's interesting.
Now that's interesting. It's not every day you see an archive mentioned in city council meeting minutes.
Right, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And this seemingly small detail speaks volumes about Montreal's commitment to preserving the history and heritage of all its communities.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It highlights the city's recognition of LGBTQ history and the importance of making those stories accessible to the public.
For sure.
And it's not just about cultural heritage either.
Okay.
At the beginning of the meeting,
Yeah.
there's a formal acknowledgement of Indigenous land.
Right.
These acknowledgements, while symbolic,
Hmm.
are becoming increasingly common in official settings across Canada.
They are, yeah.
They represent a growing awareness of the importance of reconciliation and honoring the original inhabitants of this land.
It's a good thing.
It's a small gesture. But it speaks to a larger shift in how we understand history and our place in it.
I agree.
And then there's a moment later in the meeting
Right.
where the mayor makes a passionate declaration against racism and discrimination in all its forms.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, that's a powerful statement.
Okay.
And it's actually presented quite differently in V2 and V3 of the minutes.
Oh, really? How so?
In one version,
Yeah.
it's summarized very briefly,
Okay.
while in the other,
Uh-huh.
it's almost a word-for-word transcription.
Interesting.
Why do you think there's such a discrepancy?
It's hard to say for sure without more context.
Right.
It could be an innocent oversight, or it could reflect a deliberate attempt to emphasize or downplay the mayor's statement.
Yeah, true.
It's interesting, though.
Either way, it's a reminder that city council meetings aren't just about dry policy discussions.
Right.
They can be venues for powerful expressions of a city's values and aspirations.
For sure.
In this case,
Mm-hmm.
Montreal's commitment to social justice.
Right. It's like we're getting a glimpse into the soul of the city.
It's like we're getting a glimpse into the soul of the city,
Yeah.
not just its nuts and bolts.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But as we're about to discover,
Yes.
some parts of the story might be intentionally left out.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, remember those two versions of the minutes?
Uh-huh.
We're about to delve into those discrepancies
Yeah.
and what they might reveal about the information that doesn't make the cut.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen how the city council minutes reveal Montreal's priorities,
Mm-hmm.
from street sweepers to cloud computing, from preserving LGBTQ history to acknowledging Indigenous land.
Yeah.
But as we hinted at earlier,
Okay.
sometimes what's not included in these minutes
Yeah.
is just as telling as what is.
Ooh, interesting.
It's like that old saying, the absence of evidence is not necessarily the evidence of absence,
Right.
but it can certainly raise some questions.
For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in this case,
Uh,
the questions center around a section in the minutes
mm-hmm.
dedicated to public questions.
Public questions. Okay.
It seems like a small detail
Right.
tucked away at the end of a lengthy document,
Yeah.
but it offers a glimpse into the concerns of everyday Montrealers.
Right.
So what kind of questions are we talking about here?
Yeah. What are people asking?
What's keeping Montrealers up at night?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
in the January 2024 meeting minutes,
Okay.
we see questions about homelessness,
Okay.
particularly the challenges faced by those living on the streets during the harsh winter months.
Right. Yeah.
There are also concerns raised about safety in certain neighborhoods.
Okay.
And the ongoing debate about transit funding makes an appearance, of course.
Of course. Yeah.
These aren't exactly new issues.
Yeah.
They've been part of the Montreal landscape for years.
That's years. Yeah.
So it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
why are they relegated to a brief question period at the end of a council meeting?
Right at the very end. Yeah.
Are these concerns being adequately addressed by the council, or are they being sidelined?
That's a question, isn't it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure based on the minutes alone,
Mm.
but it highlights an important point about transparency in government.
Right.
Just because something isn't explicitly discussed in the main proceedings
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's not on people's minds.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
And that's where our two versions of the minutes V2 and V3 add another layer of intrigue.
Okay, how so?
The way these public questions are summarized
Mm.
and the level of detail included
Mm.
varies between the two versions.
Okay, in what way?
In one version, a particular question about transit safety is presented almost verbatim,
Mm-hmm.
while in the other, it's condensed to a single sentence.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder about the editorial decisions behind these minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Who decides what gets included, what gets emphasized,
All right.
and what gets left out entirely.
Who's choosing?
Right. It's a reminder that even seemingly objective documents, like meeting minutes, are shaped by human choices.
Absolutely.
And those choices can have an impact on how we understand the issues at hand.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this brings us to a crucial point.
Okay.
Civic engagement matters.
It really does.
Reading these meeting minutes,
Yeah.
even if it's just a glimpse into a single council meeting,
Right.
reminds us that local government isn't some abstract entity.
Right.
It's a group of people
Mm-hmm.
making decisions that directly impact our lives.
They really are. Yeah.
From how our streets are maintained to how our tax dollars are spent.
Exactly.
So what can our listener do if they want to get more involved
Yeah, that's a good question.
to make their voice heard
Yeah.
on issues that matter to them?
Right.
Well, for starters, they can do their own deep dive.
Love it.
Montreal publishes its council meeting minutes online,
They do. Yep.
making this level of transparency accessible to every citizen.
That's great.
Take a look at the minutes from a recent meeting
Okay.
or one that covers a topic you're particularly interested in.
Right.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
You never know. Yeah.
Maybe you'll find a detail that sheds new light on a local issue
Yeah.
or an expenditure that makes you raise an eyebrow.
Maybe even get involved yourself.
Or perhaps you'll be inspired to attend a council meeting in person
Yeah.
to witness this process firsthand.
That'd be cool.
Because in the end, it's not just about reading the minutes.
Right.
It's about understanding the story they tell.
Yeah.
And recognizing that we all have a role to play
Mm.
in shaping the future of our city.
I-
And who knows?
Yeah.
You might even uncover a discrepancy between two versions of the minutes that raises more questions than answers.
Ooh, the intrigue continues.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep diving deep.
Bye for now.